Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed and Confused, your 3 times a week live show where I sit down and I answer your social media, your video questions, and try and help you and your brand and your business start communicating with the audience that is out there for you on social media right now, waiting to hear from you. Exactly. So you should be doing it. So this morning we're going to be talking a lot about something that's been rearing its ugly head yet again over the last few weeks. I've been seeing it become more and more prevalent, especially as we've been looking like we're likely to head into another lockdown of some sort in the UK. And so more and more people have been using this tactic, which is not a good tactic. I will tell you what the tactic is in just a moment. First things first, though, who am I to tell you anything? Well, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency. We help brands and businesses create content that helps them stand out on their social media, be it video, animation, aerial work, graphic work, photography, all that kind of stuff. However, a few years ago, it became very obvious to me during a bit of downtime that not every brand, not every business was in a position to spend large amounts of money, or even any money, to be honest, on having content created on a regular basis. Because social media is all about consistency. You know that, right? Good. So if you're not consistent, then the chances are your content's not being seen. And so how could I help people be consistent, but without having to spend any money? So I sat down, I came up with a process. I called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. I turned it into a former book, former #1 book even on Amazon, which is still available now for like 99p. And it takes you through the whole process of how you can create content for your brand, for your business, that will enable people to understand what it is that you do, who you are, the value that you've got to give, without actually selling and pissing people off, which is what gets to happen quite a lot on social media. So if you're interested in that and the whole process, well, sit and watch these videos over a regular basis, or you can go and download my book and have a read of that, whatever way you want to go about it. But as always, these live videos are here to try and help you get started on that content creation journey. That's all I want to do, is just get you to start making some content, and doing it for free as well, which is the most important thing, because you've got this thing in your back pocket, probably one of the most powerful tools on the planet right now. And if you're not making good use of it for your brand and for your business, then yeah, you need to start doing so. So today we are going to talk about the fact that still so many people seem to be chasing vanity metrics, or at least a lot of people seem to be pushing groups and follow for follow and sub for sub groups and like for like groups as a way of trying to grow your audience. And we have to talk about this because it's probably one of the worst marketing tactics you could ever possibly do. If you see people offering to do follow for follow on Facebook groups, and so that you get nice numbers on your Facebook group, or sub for sub on YouTube, or like for like, or follow for follow on Instagram and things like that, just run a mile in the opposite direction. This is not a good tactic for your business, for your brand, in any way, shape, or form. In fact, so right now I'm live on Twitch. This has just come through on Twitch. It's as if I'd planned it, but I didn't. These messages have come through from 2 completely different followers, 2 completely different users. In search of followers, primes, and views, come on, bigfollows.com, and get yourself some followers. And you've got to err away from these things, buying followers, buying subs, doing follow for follow, doing sub for sub. All you will end up having is dead metrics. I call them vanity metrics, because the fact of the matter is that what you do is you get all these lovely followers following your Facebook page. So your Facebook page goes from like 100 people following who are engaged with your content and love what it is that you've got to do, and you get about 20 to 25% engagement on your content. Awesome. So like 25 people, maybe 30 people sometimes, liking and commenting on a piece of your content because you've got 100 followers. Then you go onto one of these follow for follow pages or follow for follow posts, and then you get 1,000 people following your page because you've been part of this follow for follow trend on this particular comment page. So you've just gained 900 new followers. That's amazing. You've got 1,000 new people who care about what it is that you've got to say. No, you don't. And that is the issue. You have 900 new followers, of which most of won't give a shit about what it is that you've got to say. They will not care in any way, shape, or form about what it is that you've got to say, what it is that you're posting. So if you're posting on a regular basis, the algorithm is going to look at your page and go, you've got 1,000 people following, but you've still only got 25% of that original interactive 100 actually interacting with your content. But now it's no longer 25% that you're getting on a hit rate, it's 2.5%. You've just dropped right down in the algorithm. The algorithm then decides your content must be crap, it's not worth pushing out to a wider audience, and it will not push your content out to a wider audience. Because you've got to remember that you may have 100 people who like your content, but the minute you press post, the software doesn't push that content out to all 100 of those people. It pushes it out to a test site. It goes, right, okay, we'll take that section of your subscriber base and we'll push the content out to them. And if that section interacts highly, then they'll push it out to a further section of your content, and then a further section, and then they'll start pushing it out to other people who might be interested in seeing what it is that you've got to say because they know your content's good. But if that initial push out doesn't get any interaction or any likes or any comments within, say, an hour, the algorithm just goes, well, that content's obviously a load of crap. I'm not going to push it out to anybody else to see either. The days where you go onto your platforms, your choice, your Facebooks, your LinkedIns, your Instagrams, and you scroll through it and it's in chronological order are long gone. That's because the platforms want to show you the content that has been engaged with highly. So if you have got a dead audience, 900 dead people on your platform, on your page on Facebook, who don't care about what it is that you've got to say, the algorithm can only assume that your content is crap. It's not a human doing this. It's a human who's programmed it very cleverly. But it's not a human who's going to sit down and go, well, hang on a minute, I've noticed they've done a follow for follow on this comment group here, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't do that. They'd have to employ millions of people. They have an algorithm that does it, a piece of software that just goes, you've got 1,000 people following, 2.5% are interacting with your content. It must be crap. We're not going to push it to anybody. So this is why you truly need to err away from doing anything like for like, sub for sub, follow for follow, going out and buying subs, going out and buying likes, going out and buying comments, going out and buying followers, because all these things can either be traced back to you, which are against the T's and C's of most of the platforms, or they're just going to damage the way the algorithm looks at your content, and you're just not going to get seen by anybody. You're far better off building an audience with the value that you've got to give, who give a damn about what it is that you've got to say. This is why when you start putting together your marketing plan, the first thing to do is understand who your audience is. Who is your avatar? Because once you know who your avatar is, then you can move on to the next stage, which is planning content for that avatar. Then the next stage, posting content specifically where that avatar hangs out. Then the next stage, posting content in other places where the avatar might hang out, and then other places, and then creating different types of content so that the avatar can consume your content in lots of different ways. But if you've got a dead audience, then nobody's going to see what it is you've got to say. So please come off the back end of this, and any follow for follow things that you're in, or like for likes, or sub for subs, just stop it. Just step away and just go, you know what, this isn't for me. Because all it's going to do is damage the reach of your content. And there's enough issues out there with the software's consistently being updated, the algorithm's always changing. There's enough problems to overcome rather than making it even harder for yourself to be found by people. So stop doing all these things that really just are not good. And as Ed jokes, follow for follow is a good thing though, right? Yeah. Even on things like LinkedIn, just reaching out to random people, that's not really the way forward. Know who your avatar is and reach out to lots of people within that section of where your avatar hangs out. Absolutely fine. My avatar on LinkedIn, mindset, life coaches, generally based in America, reach out to them to connect. Hopefully they'll enjoy my content. But it's not a place to go, I'll reach out to a bunch of life coaches and mindset coaches. Right, okay, now I think I'll connect to loads of mechanics. Because, yeah, what the hell, might as well. And then a few other people that they might know and so on and so forth. Know your avatar, create content for that avatar, but connect with that avatar, get them to join your groups, all those kind of things. Don't just try and do follow for follow. It's so wrong. It's so, and I've seen, like I say, because of everything that's going on at the moment, it happened quite a lot at the very start of lockdown back in March, April time. And it seems to be rearing its head again right now, that people seem to think that I run a business online, I maybe do crafting, I might sell products, whatever, that if I have a huge followership, then I've got a better chance of actually being able to sell that product. And it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. And in fact, when you see people tweeting now and they've got 20,000 followers and only 2 people maybe like it and 1 person shares it, you know they've either bought those followers or they're just not the right people for them. And you just kind of go, well, your content must be rubbish, and you kind of err away from it. So, yeah. I won't keep going on about it. I'm sure it will rear its ugly head again at some point in the near future. But for now, I'm not going to say anything else about it unless you ask any questions. So if you've got any questions this morning about social media, about video, trying to help your brand get that little bit further, stick them into the comments, whatever platform you're watching on, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're watching, stick your comments into the channel right now. Say hello, tell me where you are, ask your question, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them this morning before I disappear or before Mini Boss wakes up. Because right now I'm on daddy daycare duty, but my miniature boss is having a nap. So while he's napping, I'm doing this for you guys. So yeah, make the most of it, because he could wake up any moment. You just never know. Okay, right, let's have a look. So I've had some questions come in generally. Paul asks the question, I run a local coffee shop in Hampshire. I've been thinking about doing a podcast. Is it a good idea? Okay, Paul, I'm going to give you this for free. I recommended this to somebody else, and they kind of just went, no, I'm not going to do it. And it would just be on me. So yes, a podcast, a fantastic idea. What I would recommend is using your phone. Grab a couple of phones. I'm sure you and somebody else that works at the coffee shop has a phone. Stick it in landscape mode, put it in a tripod, set record going, put a microphone in the middle of the table, and invite 2 or 3 businesses from the local community. Whatever, if you're in a village, invite them from there. If you're from a city, invite them from there. Just invite them from all around the different areas to come and talk about their business on your podcast. So my idea, and I still think this is a good one, and I don't understand why they never used it, was basically to sit down and talk about their businesses, find out who they are, what it is that they do, but also taste coffee and tea. Tea is a growing marketplace. Right now, there's a lot of podcasts about coffee. There are not a lot of podcasts about tea, which is why you want to have the tea in there. So what I would recommend is getting these 3 businesses down. They all get 10 minutes to talk about themselves, 15 minutes maybe. So it's like a 45-minute podcast, 50-minute podcast. You sit down, you introduce the podcast, explain who you are, what it is that you guys do, maybe the 3 coffees that you're going to try that morning. And then you talk to the first business, and it's, hey, Helen, tell us all about your business based here in Hampshire. And Helen sits there and talks to you about her business, and you ask some questions and you go, great, thanks ever so much, Helen. We're going to talk to Ben in just a second, but first things first, let's try this Colombian coffee. And they all try the coffee, and you talk about the back flavors and everything else like that. Then you move on to the next person and they tell you about their business. The reason you're going to do this is because, number one, you're showing your expertise in lots of different coffees. You're going to finish on a cup of tea, so that you're showing that tea is a growing marketplace. And you've got 3 local businesses who will all be using social media to tell everybody else that they're on your podcast. So your podcast can then be viewed by more and more people. The great thing about that as well is you can edit out each interview, so you've got separate pieces of content there. You can edit out each piece about the coffee, so you've got separate pieces of content there. You've got the whole video, so that can all go up on YouTube. You've got the whole video, so that can all go up on for Facebook. And you've got the audio that you can strip off and actually use as a podcast. So from sitting down and talking to 3 businesses for like 50 minutes and maybe the cost of 3 coffees for each person, or 2 coffees and 1 cup of tea for each person, you've got a great marketing tool, and it's cost you next to nothing. So is a podcast a good idea? Yes. And Paul, if you like that idea, please go and run with it, because it's a massive opportunity. And like I say, tea is a massive growing market. I've talked about this so often with local coffee shop owners, and they've just not kind of cottoned onto it. And yeah, definitely go for it. Okay, so next question that came through. Karen, I've seen an online course for helping me become TikTok famous. Should I go on it? Basically, no. Karen, it's the point, really. You don't need a course to become TikTok famous. You just need to be putting content out, giving value to the audience, whatever that value is that you do. But most courses, they're going to cost you money that you might not even have. But even if you do have it, they're not going to give you anything that you can't find for free. So many people are charging thousands upon thousands of pounds for different courses, for different things that they do. And they're just cons. They really, really are. I talked about this the other week about one guy that I came across on Facebook, and he had an advert, and the screen was split. He was on one side and somebody else was on the other side. And he sat there and he's nodding and he's smiling and everything else like that, because the person on the other side has supposedly been using his funnels to build their business, and they've been very successful. What he doesn't tell you is that the video he actually used is nothing to do with him. It's actually somebody who's just got their college acceptance through, and they're really excited about the fact that they're going to their college of choice in America. So this guy is out and out lying. To get around that, he has now put a little disclaimer written really small and only up for about 2 or 3 seconds on the video, saying this video doesn't belong to me and is nothing to do with my course. So that's the kind of person that you are dealing with, Karen. So go on a TikTok course? No. Really don't, unless it's like £1 and it's not going to cost you anything mega. Just completely ignore it. Don't get into their funnel. Don't get caught up with them. Just kind of go and find the free content out there. There's plenty of it that explains to you exactly what you need to do. In fact, there's loads of people on TikTok, including myself, who are putting out content that just tells you what to do on TikTok and when things change on TikTok and what music works on TikTok and what particular filters are working on TikTok and what new trends there are. So just go follow those people and learn that way. You don't need to spend money. You really don't. Let's have a look. Quick question here from Kathy, who's just joined us this morning on LinkedIn. Can I add my podcast channel to my Facebook business page? I'm new to podcasting and wondering how people will find me. So no, you can't. What you can do is put an advert for your podcast and pin it to the top of your business page. That would be the best way of doing it, so that whenever anybody visits your page, that's the first piece of content that they will get to see. So you can either pin it or set it as an announcement, depending on how you set up your business page. But that's what I would recommend. And also, if you're getting good interaction with that actual piece of content, then I would also recommend putting some budget behind it and maybe spending just a little bit of cash. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. That's targeting that particular piece of content at your audience, at your avatar. Obviously, don't boost. Do it properly through Facebook Page Manager. And if you're not really sure what to do, go and speak to an expert. It's always worth it. You're going to end up spending money that you don't need to spend, and it's not going to hit the audience that you want it to hit. But so, no, you can't. But there are ways around it, like I say, by pinning a post at the top of your Facebook business page so that everybody who comes to the page immediately sees that. Right, let's have a look at some more questions that came through overnight. Jesse, How do I build a sustainable income stream within the gaming space by leveraging my community in Australia, where the industry is still a baby, without monetizing my community members? Okay, Jesse, this is fairly basic, really. It's simple as you do it by brand marketing, by allowing people to pay for space on your channel, pay for their music to be heard on your channel. There's all different types of ways of doing it, but brand marketing is basically the way that I would look at it. If you've got a big enough audience, a big enough community, then people will be happy to pay money to be featured on your channel so that they can be heard, so that they can be seen. And hopefully those people who watch your content will see that you endorse them and then will buy their products or listen to their music and so on and so forth. So brand marketing is the way to go, 100%. And that way, if you've got a big enough audience, you will never, ever have to monetize your audience, ever, which is even better because then they're always going to get the value. They're always going to stay with you, and you're still going to make a living. So fingers crossed, that also hopefully helps you a little bit as well, Jesse. Right, that's all my questions done, and I can hear some murmurings in the background, so I'm going to disappear right now, and I will catch you guys on Monday when I'll be here for another live answering your questions. And until then, have a great weekend. It's going to be a damp one in the UK, so make sure whatever you do, you take your umbrella out with you and stay safe. We're still in these strange times. We just don't know what the hell's going on, do we? Thanks for watching today. If you're brand new, please hit subscribe, whatever platform that you're watching on. If you're not already following or subscribed to me and you like the content, and while you're at it, you can always just move your mouse or your thumb ever so slightly to one side and click share, so more and more people can get to know about this content. And I don't mean share as in do you believe? I mean share as in SHARE, share it with people. I know my accent's a little bit difficult sometimes. Anyway, right, have a good one. Take care. Have a great Friday. And I will see you on Monday.